plan was to, I figured I needed $1 million. I figured I could build a golf course for $250,000, and did. And designed some things into that $250,000 to go for the second 18, like a system oversized for 18, but just right for 36. And I was the investor was at $50,000, no debt. Well, everything went fine until we went from a clubhouse that was going to be strictly a golf clubhouse. We'd have lunches, dinners, but no ballrooms, none of that big stuff. Well, the investors, while I was building the golf course, somehow or other convinced me, to build this 33,000 square foot beautiful clubhouse. But that was about twice as big as it needed to be as soon as we found out we were going to be an 18-hole golf course. So we got into financial difficulties. We had a $750,000 debt just on that alone. And so we had to borrow. And then the Blue Marsh came along, and the banks didn't want to borrow us because they couldn't see us succeeding with the problems. It all got really messed up. And if it wasn't for one man in the banking business around here, a fellow named Donald Cooper, who was executive of Van Hamilton Bank and several more since then, has since retired. He had faith in the project, and he interviewed me to see if they'd lend us the money after some of my other investors who were bigger wigs in town than I was for business field. He asked me one question at dinner. He said, "How do you and the board members get along?" I said, "We're fighting all the time." One of my maybe good points, and maybe not. I tell it the way it is. And at the end of dinner, and we went over the books and things, he said, he made me an offer for the corporation that was perfect for us, with one condition, that I'm in charge and the board has nothing to say. And I looked at him and said, "Why?" He said, "You told me the truth. You guys are fighting all the time." Those same board members have been talking to me for months to get refinancing, and they tell me everything's fine. He said, "I won't go into business with somebody that lies to me." And that's somehow we got over the hump. It still wasn't easy. We loaned $250,000 to this place with borrowed money that I didn't have. And but to try and stay in line with this thing, I suppose you learn from tough experiences. That's what makes you a better person, they say. We survived it. It took a lot of maneuvering, but it took 25 years. And so there ends the reading the lesson as far as my amateur golf, because by that time I was really too old to compete. Getting the Heidelberg off my shoulders was a huge burden relief. Built a home in California, spent winters out there from 1989 till 2007, when the financial world was telling me it's time to sell these, it's not worth anything. So we came back here. We did that, thank God. But yeah, I started joined PGA West, had a life membership there. Played a lot of those tournaments, won their, I don't know if we talked about that, won the Triple Crown, I guess we did talk about that. Mm-hmm. Also won the match play championship one year there. Then I started having some aches and pains. I had my left hip replaced in 91, my right hip replaced in 93, my back fixed in 96. The back was more of a problem than the hips, but you could play golf on one leg almost. Ask Tiger Woods. I taught him that lesson. I hope I didn't teach him any other lesson. And the back surgery, my right leg was as small as my right. I finally got a neurosurgeon to put me back together again, and 6 months later I went to the Long Valley Championship, which was one of 4 clubs I belonged to in California. So yeah, senior golf was great. I'm the only amateur to win the state seniors 4 times. Mm-hmm. And I guess when I'm talking about myself, which I try to do somewhat of a minimum, I enjoy being able to say I was the first to do that, the only to do that. The first to do the 4 amateurs, senior amateurs, and the only amateur to win the state open, state amateur, and state senior amateur. No one else has done that. If I could have stayed on the track that I was on as a regular amateur, and I could see my game getting more accustomed to the U.S., to the North and South amateur, which in those days was second to the national amateur, And I had played the National Amateur 3 times. The low round of the day, although I got beat in that day, but I had the low score of the day. And I went 5 rounds in another one, one win short of winning the Masters. Played a kid from Canada, had 6 straight threes the first 6 holes. That sort of puts you in a bad mood, if nothing else. And so I got myself waxed out of that one. But so I had some national amateur experience. I had one round in the Northern where I played a round of golf. I played the qualifying round. I had one putt green, which was a tap-in birdie on a par 3. 2 putts the rest of the greens, and was 4 under par. I birdied 3 par 5s of the 4 by hitting them in 2. So I hit every green in regulation. The par 5s that you could reach it on 2, and 1 tap-in birdie for 6. That's my favorite, best ever round of golf. Probably my biggest thrill, although not a tournament win. That particular tournament, I played 57 holes before I made a bogey. I don't know of anybody that's done as many different things in golf at some level.
At a very high level.
If I can pat myself in the back. This is sort of a pat yourself in the back discussion here, so I don't know anybody that's done all these things. Really. And then add to it, both my wife and I winning a car. I mean, how crazy is that? So, do I regret it? Well, I probably could have turned pro and made some kind of a living at it. Maybe if I could have improved my game a little bit. But after 6 weeks on the tour when I was in the military, I hated it. The travel just stank. You don't know where you're going to put your head the next night. You know, you got to be a certain kind of person to do that. Now, today they go up in their private jets and go to the next fancy place. Those days in San Diego, I stayed in somebody's trailer. I remember the club took me up in the trailer. Well, you know, that's very nice, but not exactly conducive to the comforts of living you're looking forward to. So I don't know that I regret it. I honestly don't know. It's a what if kind of thing. Well, what if I might have not done these things out of golf, and maybe my game would have gone pot, and I'd just put another Masters somewhere. I think he's the greatest symbol of golf there is, and he was about to be overtaken, but somebody managed to mess up his life, so he's never going to. He may win 15 majors or 18 or whatever, but he's never going to be the person that Jack Nicklaus was in all respects. And I thought the world of Tiger Woods. Great guy. Played with him in an exhibition. Could have been nicer. Paid me some compliments. Had a member come back from his course at Bay Hill. Up here, came up over me in the practice team and said, "You're never going to believe this. I ran into Arnold Palmer. I told him I was from Heidelberg. He said, you know John Guenther?" He said, "Sure." He said, "John Guenther's the best iron player he ever saw." That's coming from a member, you know. Now, Arnold Palmer, how's he going to remember that? Yeah. Great player. Great player. Great. His record has to be the best amateur record of any Philadelphia. Of course, he had the opportunities. I don't know how long his career was. Pretty long. Would I like to have tried to catch him? Yeah. I did that route. I took the other fork in the road. Well, it was too good by at least one hole. Oh, but a nice guy to play with. I wouldn't have gotten where I got with that. Badorf, Eakin, Johnny Markle, Buddy Lewis, all from Berkshire Country Club. We had a championship tournament every time we played our club. We had a state level tournament at our course, our club championship. That can help but make you a better player.